The red bow was the first thing Evan noticed. It was too big, too bright, sitting on the hood of a black BMW like it had won something. The porch lights reflected off the car's surface, sharp and clean, as if it didn't belong to the same world Evan lived in. His parents stood proudly beside it, smiling wide, while his younger sister Lily jumped in place, her hands covering her mouth in disbelief. Evan arrived late. He had come straight from work, his shirt still smelling faintly of oil and dust. He stood at the edge of the driveway, unnoticed at first, watching the moment unfold as if it were a scene from someone else's life. His father held up his phone, recording Lily's reaction. His mother clapped, laughing, tears forming in her eyes. Every sound felt loud, heavy, and final. "Oh my God," Lily said, her voice shaking. "Is this real?" His mother hugged her tightly. "Of course it is. You deserve it." Evan felt something tighten in his chest. He wasn't shocked. That was the part that scared him most. He had expected this kind of thing for years. Still, seeing it made his hands curl into fists inside his pockets. Earlier that evening, before the sun had set, his parents had called him into the living room. The television was off. The room felt formal, staged. His mother smiled in a way that didn't reach her eyes. His father cleared his throat and reached into his wallet. "Here," his father said, placing something into Evan's hand. It was folded small. Light. Evan opened it and stared. $2 bills. Old. Worn. His mother laughed softly. "We didn't know what to get you. You're so hard to shop for." Evan smiled back, automatically. "Yeah. Thanks." No hug, no speech, no explanation. He told himself it didn't matter. He told himself he was an adult. He told himself he didn't need anything from them anymore. But the weight of those $2 stayed with him, heavy and sharp, pressed against his palm long after he slipped them into his pocket. Now, standing in the driveway, he watched Lily circle the car in awe. She ran her fingers along the door, afraid to touch it too hard. "I can't believe this," she said. "I don't even know what to say." His father laughed. "Just drive safe." Evan stepped closer. Gravel crunched under his shoes. His mother finally noticed him. "Oh, Evan," she said, "you made it." "Yeah," he said. "I did." She gestured toward the car. "Isn't it beautiful?" "It's nice," Evan replied. That was all he said. That was all he could say without breaking something. Lily hugged him, quick and excited. "Thank you for coming," she said. "I know you've been busy." "Congrats," Evan said. He meant it. That truth hurt almost as much as everything else. As Lily climbed into the driver's seat, the door shutting with a clean, solid sound, Evan felt a memory rise without warning. He was 16 again, standing in this same driveway, holding keys to a used car with a cracked mirror. His father had told him it was a good lesson. Responsibility. Gratitude. Lily turned the key. The engine purred smoothly. Everyone clapped. Evan looked at his parents. They didn't look at him. Something shifted inside him then. Not anger, not sadness. Something quieter. Something firm. The celebration carried on, but Evan felt separate from it, like he was standing behind glass. He answered questions with short replies. He smiled when expected. He waited until the night thinned out and people went inside. At 1:30 a.m., the house was quiet. The BMW rested in the driveway like a trophy. Evan sat on the edge of his bed, fully dressed, staring at the wall. The room felt smaller than it used to. The silence pressed in. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the $2. He laid them flat on the desk and looked at them for a long time. They felt like a message he had finally learned how to read. At 2 a.m. Evan stood by the front door with a backpack slung over one shoulder. Inside were clothes, his laptop, and a few things he cared about. Nothing else. He paused, listening. No footsteps. No voices. Just the hum of the house that had never felt like his. He unlocked his phone. One by one, he blocked their numbers. His parents. His relatives. Anyone who might try to explain things away. When he opened the door, cold air rushed in. He stepped outside without looking back. The door closed softly behind him. The driveway was empty now except for the BMW. Evan walked past it, not slowing. Down. He didn't touch it. He didn't curse it. He didn't need to. As he reached the street, Evan felt fear for the first time that night. He didn't know where he would sleep tomorrow. He didn't know how long the silence would last. But beneath the fear was something else. Relief. For the first time, the imbalance was clear. Named. Finished. Evan walked into the dark, carrying nothing but his choice, unaware that this quiet exit would become the beginning of something far louder. Evan did not vanish the way people expected. He didn't change his name or leave the city. He didn't post dramatic messages or explain himself. He simply stopped answering. The silence was sharp at first, then steady, like a wall he built. Brick by brick. He slept on a friend's couch, woke before sunrise, and took every extra shift he could get. Work kept his hands busy, but his mind never rested. At night, the memories returned without warning. Not the BMW, not the red bow. Older things. Smaller moments that now felt heavier. Being told to wait while Lily spoke. Being praised for not needing much. Being expected to understand. He understood too well. That was the problem. His phone buzzed often during the first week. Missed calls. Unknown numbers. Messages that said they were worried, confused, hurt. Evan deleted them without reading past the first line. He knew the pattern. Concern would turn into excuses. Excuses would turn into blame. He refused to step back into that cycle. One night, unable to sleep, he opened his email. A message from his mother sat at the top. The subject line read, "Please." He read it once. Then again. It spoke of family, of love, of misunderstandings. It asked him to come home and talk like adults. There was no mention of the money. Mention of the car. No acknowledgement of why he left. Evan closed the laptop. That was when the idea first settled in his mind. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just clear. His parents cared deeply about how they looked to others. Fair parents. Supportive parents. They told that story often. Evan had helped them build it by staying quiet. He thought about all the things he still had. Old bank records. Messages asking him to cover bills. Thank you texts sent to Lily for things he paid for. None of it was cruel on its own. Together, it formed a pattern that could not be ignored. Revenge did not feel good when he imagined it. It felt heavy, like carrying a full glass without spilling. He pictured telling the truth publicly. Family gatherings turning silent. Friends asking questions his parents could not answer. He imagined their shock, their anger, their sudden need to explain. He also imagined Lily standing in the middle of it all, confused and hurt. That image slowed him down. Evan began writing instead. Not a message. Not a post. A document. He wrote dates, numbers, moments, clear sentences. No insults. No emotion. Just facts. Each word felt like a step forward and a step back at the same time. Some nights, he wanted to send it to everyone he knew. Other nights, he wanted to delete it and pretend none of this mattered. He lived in that space between action and restraint, unable to settle. His friend noticed the change. "You're quiet," she said one evening as they ate takeout on the floor. "I'm thinking," Evan replied. "About them?" Yes, she didn't push. That helped more than advice. As days turned into weeks, Evan's anger sharpened into focus. He no longer wanted to hurt them out of pain. He wanted them to understand. He wanted acknowledgement, not apology. Apologies could be given without meaning. One afternoon, his aunt called from a borrowed number. Evan answered before he realized. "They're worried," she said gently. "Your parents don't understand why you're doing this." Evan exhaled slowly. "That's not true," he said. "They understand. They just don't want to say it out loud." Silence followed. "Then, they want to see you." Evan hesitated. He had rehearsed this moment in his mind many times. He imagined shouting, crying, leaving again. "Tell them I'll think about it," he said. That night, Evan opened the document again. He read it from top to bottom. It didn't sound angry. It sounded tired, honest. He realized something then. The document wasn't a weapon. It was a mirror. He printed it and folded it neatly. He placed it in his bag, unsure why. Maybe as proof. Maybe as protection. The invitation came the next morning. A small family dinner. No guests, no audience. Just a chance to talk. Evan stared at the message for a long time. Revenge whispered that this was the moment. Healing warned him that some doors, once opened, never closed the same way again. He agreed to come. On the day of the dinner, Evan felt calm in a way that surprised him. Not numb. Focused. He dressed simply. He didn't rehearse what he would say. He let the weight of the truth settle. Instead, as he walked toward the house that evening, he noticed the BMW parked proudly in the driveway. Clean. Polished. Untouched by doubt. He didn't look away this time. He studied it, not with anger, but with understanding. The car wasn't the cause. It was the symbol. Evan stepped inside, carrying the folded pages in his bag, and a decision forming in his chest. He didn't know if he would expose everything or walk away forever. He only knew that whatever he chose next would change the shape of his life. And for the first time, that choice was his. Evan arrived just before sunset. The house looked the same, neat and welcoming, as if nothing inside had ever gone wrong. The porch light was already on. Through the window, he saw movement, shadows crossing the walls. His hand tightened on the strap of his bag before he rang the bell. The door opened quickly. His mother stood there, surprised, then relieved. "You came," she said. "Yes," Evan replied. She stepped aside. "Come in." The smell of dinner filled the air. Familiar, heavy. His father stood near the table, hands clasped, face tense. Lily rose from her chair the moment she saw Evan. She crossed the room and hugged him without hesitation. Her arms were warm, real. "I'm glad you're here," she said softly. "Me too," Evan answered, and meant it more than he expected. They sat. Plates were served. Small talk filled the gaps at first. Work. Weather. Nothing that mattered. Evan ate slowly, listening, watching. His parents avoided his eyes and watched him too closely, like they were afraid he might vanish again. Halfway through the meal, his father cleared his throat. The sound cut through the room. "We should," Talk, he said. About what happened? Evan nodded. That's why I'm here. His mother folded her hands. You left without explaining. We were worried. Evan looked at her. I didn't leave without explaining. I left after years of explaining that went nowhere. Silence fell. Lily shifted in her seat. It wasn't meant to hurt you. His mother said, the gift situation just got misunderstood. Evan felt the old pull to argue, to list examples, to prove himself. He resisted. It wasn't one moment, he said. It was a pattern. His father frowned. We've always tried to be fair. Evan reached into his bag and placed the folded pages on the table. He didn't push them forward yet. He let them sit there, visible, undeniable. This is not an attack, Evan said calmly. It's a record. His parents stared at the pages as if they might speak on their own. Lily looked between them. What's that? Something I needed to write, Evan said. Because talking wasn't working. His father picked up the document slowly. His eyes moved across the first page. His jaw tightened. This feels unnecessary, he said. Evan leaned back in his chair. So did leaving. But here we are. The room grew tense. His mother's eyes filled with tears. We did our best, she said. You've always been strong, independent. That word again, Evan replied. Independent doesn't mean invisible. Lily swallowed. I didn't know, she said quietly. If I had, Evan turned to her. This isn't about blaming you. But I benefited, she said. I see that now. Evan paused. This was the moment he had imagined so many times. He could push harder. He could list every number every time he was overlooked. He could expose everything and watch it fall apart. The urge rose sharp and fast. He stood. Everyone froze. Evan took a breath. I thought revenge would feel powerful, he said. I thought telling everyone would finally make me feel seen. His father looked up. Is that what this is? No, Evan said. That's what it almost was. He slid the pages toward the center of the table. This isn't for the world, it's for you. His mother reached for his arm. Evan, please. He stepped back gently. I'm not here to destroy you. I'm here to stop destroying myself. The words landed heavier than any accusation. I'm walking away, Evan continued. Not out of anger. Out of choice. I won't beg for balance anymore. I won't explain my worth. His father stood. You're overreacting. Evan met his eyes. That's the problem. You still think this is about emotion, not impact. Lily's voice broke. Does this mean you're leaving again? Evan looked at her, really looked at her. It means things change. But I'm not disappearing. He picked up his bag. You can read it, he said, nodding at the pages. Or you can pretend it doesn't exist. That part is up to you. His mother cried openly now. We love you. Evan's chest tightened, but he didn't step back. Love isn't a feeling, he said. It's a pattern too. He walked to the door. His hand rested on the handle for a moment. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for understanding. Outside, the air was cool and steady. The BMW sat in the driveway, shining under the porch light. Evan walked past it again. Slower this time, aware of how little power it had over him now. As he reached the sidewalk, he felt something release inside his chest. Not joy, not victory. Relief. He had stood his ground without burning everything down. He had chosen truth without spectacle. Whether his parents changed or not no longer controlled him. Evan kept walking. knowing the hardest choice wasn't revenge or forgiveness. It was choosing himself. The quiet after the dinner felt strange, like the air after a storm that never fully broke. Evan didn't rush to fill it. He returned to his routine, working long hours, saving money, building days that belonged to him. The urge to check his phone faded slowly. Silence stopped feeling like punishment and started feeling like space. For the first time, his thoughts were not racing ahead to defend or explain. They stayed where he was. Morning light through a window, the sound of traffic, the simple relief of knowing no one could pull him back into old roles without his consent. A week passed, then another. A message arrived through his aunt. Short, careful. It said his parents had read the pages. All of them. It said they needed time. Evan read it once and set the phone down. Time, he had learned, was not something he owed anyone anymore. One evening, as he left work, his phone buzzed again. This time it was his father. Evan didn't answer. He let it ring out, not out of anger, but clarity. When the voicemail came through, he listened. There was no defense in his father's voice. No excuses. Just wait. He admitted they had leaned on Evan because it was easy. Because Evan never broke. He said they had confused strength with permission. The message ended without asking for forgiveness. Evan sat in his car for a long time after that. The words didn't erase the past, but they shifted something. Accountability felt different than apology. It felt real. 2 days later, Lily messaged him. I sold the car, she wrote. I didn't need it. I needed to understand. Evan stared at the screen, heart tight. He called her without thinking. You didn't have to do that, he said. I know, Lily replied. I wanted to. They talked for an hour. Not about money, not about gifts. About childhood memories that looked different from opposite sides. About things never said. About guilt and love existing at the same time. When the call ended, Evan felt lighter. Not healed, but moving. His parents reached out again weeks later. This time, directly. They asked to meet, not at the house, not over dinner. Neutral ground. Coffee. No pressure. Evan agreed. They looked older when he saw them. Smaller somehow. His mother didn't cry. His father didn't speak much. They listened. That alone was new. We can't undo it, his mother said. But we see it now. Evan nodded. That's all I needed. There was no dramatic reunion. No promise of perfection. Just honesty. Slow and uncomfortable. It was enough. After that, Evan kept his distance but not his walls. He answered calls when he wanted. He left when conversations turned heavy. He no longer stayed to prove a point. The document stayed on his laptop, untouched. He never shared it. It had served its purpose. Months passed. Evan moved into a small apartment of his own. It wasn't impressive, but it was his. He hung nothing on the walls at first. He liked the emptiness. It reminded him of choice. Sometimes, late at night, he thought about revenge. About how close he had come to exposing everything. He wondered how it would have felt in the moment. Powerful maybe. Loud. But he also imagined the cost. The long echo of it. The way it would have tied him to the past forever. Walking away had not erased the pain. It had ended its control. One evening he found the $2 in an old jacket pocket. He held them, smiled, and placed them in a drawer. Not as a reminder of hurt, but of a turning point. Evan understood. Something then that he hadn't before. Revenge promises relief, that keeps the wound open. Boundaries feel quiet, but they heal. His parents were still learning. So, was he. There were awkward moments, setbacks, long pauses. Healing wasn't a straight line. It didn't need to be. What mattered was this. Evan no longer measured his worth by what others gave him or withheld. He had stopped asking to be chosen. And in doing so, he finally chose himself.